All right, it's been a minute. So what's up, From family, or Frumily, as they say on Twitter. But if I'm being honest, I don't really care for that name. You guys let me know if it's just me, but I don't know. I could take it or leave it. But season 2 is finally right around the corner, and we gotta talk about the season 2 trailer that just dropped a few weeks ago. Now, I have seen the first 3 episodes, but there's also some things in this trailer that I have not seen yet. So I'll be playing dumb for the most part, so I'm obviously not spoiling things for you guys. All right, but let's get to it. So immediately we see Boyd walking through the town, ringing the bell, which, if you all remember from the events that occurred at the end of season 1, this man is still trapped in a damn chimney somewhere.
Hey! Hello! I can't even hear me! Ah!
And plus, we already know that things aren't quite right by the filter they're using during this scene, with those kind of washed out colors. And of course, it's confirmed in the next scene when we see Boyd wake up. And surprise, surprise, he's still trapped and it's just a dream sequence. Now, I'm not sure how much this dream is foreshadowing and how much is, just a dream that might not mean anything at all. Like, we see that there's a storm coming like before when he and Sarah got trapped at the end of season 1 in the rain. And we see his Parkinson's is still alive and kicking. And we hear a whisper. And you guys be sure to let me know if you were able to make out what that whisper was, so we can discuss that down in the comments below, because I did not catch that. Pretty sure it was something interesting. So we do see later in this trailer that Boyd does make it out eventually, which honestly, I wish they wouldn't have revealed in the trailer. I personally think that the build up to how he gets out would have been a better move for viewers, and they just would have played it off like, we might not see him make it out. But it is what it is. I guess you can't really play games like that with your main character, like Harold Perrineau, and, have it seem like he's not going to be in the next season. So I don't want them to do that, but it just would have been cooler if they would have played on it for a bit, to make you guys think that he wouldn't have made it out. But we're still not sure when and where he is. Well, I know where he is, but of course I can't say, but I can confirm that it's not a chimney. And FYI, we do get to see how he makes it out, and it is quite interesting. And I will just go ahead and throw out a spoiler warning right now that later in the video, I will tell you guys what it is that he is inside of. I won't tell you where he is exactly or anything like that, but I will say that it is not a chimney, and I'll tell you what it is that he's trapped inside of. So the next shots are the Grand Rapids bus pulling up with all the new guests as the OG characters prepare to greet them. And we see Tom over by the bar. He's basically the first one to see the bus pulling up. And also this guy right here, he's pretty funny, by the way. He's also an asshole and a hothead, but so far I actually like his character. He's kind of like Jade, but a little worse. I don't know his name yet, so yeah. But we do see in the next shot that initially Donna is trying to take on Boyd's job of breaking the news to the newbies that they are now stuck in this place and can't leave, because currently, Boyd isn't around at this particular time. But eventually, in the next shot, we do see that Boyd is now back somehow and has regained control of the situation. Then they cut to the first night after the bus arrived, and we see an elderly couple that decided to stay hidden at the back of the bus. And they are eventually found by Grinning Gary. And yes, I just made that up because I think we need nicknames for all the all-star creatures that start shit. Like that, they're always at the pivotal moments when things pop off, like Jasmine the Simp Slayer and Milkman Marcus. And although Milkman Marcus hasn't had a big all-star highlight moment yet, I just think that his outfit is easily the top 5 creepiest of the creature's human forms throughout the show. But whenever I see the pale white milkman in the 50s milkman uniform and shit, I don't know, it just seems creepy as fuck. It seems a lot creepier than the other uniforms, but hey, that's just me. So yeah, that's Milkman Marcus, and of course we're all familiar with Jasmine the Simp Slayer, who basically had her all-star moment last season with basically being the catalyst to the Colony House massacre. But anyway, I think it's a given that the elderly couple was probably killed. And also, before we move forward, there were some other shots of the creatures coming out that night the bus arrived, along with Julie peeking through the blinds from what looks to be the diner. There's also a voiceover here of Donna reiterating to Jim, of all people, that the creatures will indeed slaughter your ass. Then there's a shot of Boyd again, but in the woods this time, hiding behind a tree as the creatures pass. and there's Milkman Marcus. But if you look closely, you can see that Boyd is actually holding the same torch that we see later in this trailer. And my guess is that all of this is probably the events that take place right after he finds a way out of the chimney hole. Because not only is he wearing the same clothes, but his clothes seem to be in the same condition as they were when we saw him in the hole. And then we jump to a shot of someone approaching an old ballerina music box, which is an item I'm pretty sure we have not seen before, but I'm assuming that this has some significance, and hopefully we'll get to see what that significance is this season. In the next shot, we see Boyd, Victor, and a new character named Algin, who we don't know yet, but he's one of the new arrivals. And they look to be heading into the woods or back to town. And it seems that Algin is already making the right friends. And I think this shot alone could be an early sign of his importance in the show, but that's just a guess, and I could be completely wrong about that. Here we see another shot of Boyd back in town at the diner talking about how he needs to get everyone home. Then there's another shot of the new people from the bus, along with Algin again, and the two other new series regulars. Now, aside from Algin, I don't really know much about the new series regulars. A couple things, but not much at all. Now, I'm not sure if I've said this before, but this is sort of a fun fact because I don't know if you guys knew it, but Victor wasn't originally going to be a series regular until after the announcement of the season 2 renewal. Why wasn't he a series regular before the renewal? I have no idea. To me, it seems like he was always going to be a pivotal part of the story based off just how much Victor knows and how long he's been there. But yeah, that was kind of strange, but he's a series regular now, so that's great. So moving on to the next shot, we have Christy, and who we can very likely assume is her fiance. And of course, we all saw this coming after what she said in season 1 regarding her fiance and where she was from.
Have you been?
I hardly got past Grand Rapids.
And then seeing the charter bus pull up at the diner in the finale with Grand Rapids written across the front. So in this next shot, we see something very interesting, and it's Tabitha and Julie leaving the barn after doing something, and Tabitha sees two new kids in white. Now, I'm only referring to these two as also being kids in white because the original kid in white, that was what was written on the credit sheet, and I don't know what the hell these kids are referred as just yet, so that's what I'm using for now until we know more. But we have a little girl and a little boy holding hands, presumably a sister and brother maybe. And unlike the original kid in white, whose clothes are always very clean, these kids look very dirty. They still have that dead pale skin look though, like all the other wannabe humans or spirits throughout the town. So yeah, there are some similarities of course, but I wanted to point that out. But what I'm very curious about is that I wonder what this means for Tabitha now. She was always having visions before, but this seems to be a step up from that. I mean, now this kind of puts her in the category of like an Ethan or a Victor because they are able to see the kid in white. But, she hasn't seen the kid in white yet. These are other kinds of kids. So it's like, what does this mean for Tabitha now? Since their clothes are dirty, it could mean that they are the evil versions of the kid in white. But then again, there's many of them and they could be a whole new threat altogether. So who knows? Then we see a shot of Tabitha and Victor in the creature tunnels underneath the town. And we see more of the little dirty white pale children in the woods after it looks like Tabitha left a cave. And then Jim tells Tabitha, what if this is all just designed to see how we'd react? Basically, once again, revisiting the popular notion that they are being tested somehow. And these new dirty kids kind of look like patients to some degree. Like we see one of them has lost hair, and some look like they might be wearing bandages on their head. Plus, we haven't seen any monsters yet that are children. So, maybe these could be kids that died long ago in the town. And like I've said before, the human figures all have that pale skin thing in common. But these are the first ones we've seen that aren't clean or have that pristine look to them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that means. In the next shot, it looks like we cut back to the bus where we see a trail of blood from the night before where that old elderly couple was probably killed. And in the next shot, we see another one of our new series regulars, Barta, the bus driver, and I don't know much about her at this time. Then there's another shot that reveals that the person who was approaching the music box in those earlier scenes in the trailer was Boyd. And we see Boyd in the next scene as well, dreaming again because Father Khatri is sitting behind the desk in the police station. And of course, we all know what happened to him.
You guys okay over there?
Father?
No! No!
He also sees the ballerina music box again, or a silhouette of it, like it's an item from his past that's haunting him or something. The next shot is a weird guy asking Boyd, what if it's all just a dream? Because although I already know it's Boyd in this scene, You can still tell that that's his shoulder from the shirt he's seen wearing throughout the trailer. The more important question here is, who is this guy? He looks very old and withered, like he's been there for a while, wherever he is. Then we see dirty pale white kid scaring Tabitha in a cave somewhere, and Boyd still in his mysterious chimney hole, which isn't a chimney hole at all. And I'll go ahead and just say this much. I'll just go ahead and reveal what it is. Here's the spoiler warning. Boyd is stuck in an old well. That's what he's trapped inside of. So there you go. Next is a shot of Boyd examining his arm back at the police station. And I can't wait to talk about the weird shit that happens to him. He even says it in the next shot that something happened to him out there, referring to him, being out there with Sarah.
Something happened to me out there. Something I don't understand.
Then we see Boyd again standing with a torch in the woods, surrounded by some sort of broken down structure or an old building, also possibly a Parkinson scene. And then we see Donna and Kenny as Kenny fires a warning shot in the air, because it seems that things might be getting a little out of hand with the new people. Also, there's a quick blink and you'll miss it moment where it looks like the light bulbs are being blown out again, like maybe they're attempting to do something with the electricity again, which would be interesting. Because if you guys recall last season, that's where the finale ended, with them, discovering how to use the electricity and how to access it from Jade, and, what they tried to do with the radio signal. The next shot shows Ellis and Victor standing in a car graveyard, and it looks like Victor might be holding some kind of radio, maybe, that looks like an antenna or something, I don't know. Maybe they're here to salvage something from the vehicles, possibly. Then we see Christy telling her fiance that this place isn't what she thinks, and Christy is in tears and her fiance looks a bit upset, which might mean that her fiance thinks that she never returned by choice, possibly.
I wonder sometimes, actually all the time, what it must be like for her, thinking I abandoned her.
And I just gotta say this while we're talking about Christy. I don't think it's over for Kenny yet, people. I mean, there's a lot of outcomes for this situation. Shit, maybe they'll even let Kenny join in, because 2's company and 3's a crowd, but 3 is also polygamy. And if Kenny can convince them, hey, the sky's the limit. But anyway, moving on. So there's one of our new series regulars in this next shot dancing in the rain. And then we see Kenny and Julie watching the Matthews family house crumble to the ground. And for a split second, if you pause the screen, we can also see that someone was inside. Is that you, Jim? Then we have another quick shot of Tabitha and Victor in the tunnels, I presume. Jade sees a guy holding that book with the symbols, but hold on. This guy looks kind of familiar, right? Well, if you thought he did, then you'd be correct, because it's the guy from the photo in season 1, episode 7 with Victor in the back. Now, I can't wait to see what the hell that means, but I am like 99.9% sure that that's supposed to be the same guy. It doesn't look exactly like the same guy. Maybe they got another actor, but he's wearing the same shirt. It's the book, all signs point to this being the same guy. Then we see a ghostly Father Khatri telling Boyd that broken people don't survive here. Which of course I'm sure this is just all in Boyd's head, but you guys know how it is with a show like this. You can never really be too sure. Next we see a quick shot of Granny, aka Granny Gon Getcha, who's finally back again now that Megan and her mother are finally done digesting. Yeah, she really ate good that night. Poor Megan. Jesus. Now we kind of got like a crazy speed round. So we got Creature trying to kill somebody, Victor in a tunnel, some random new guy dying, and a shot of Donna telling little Ethan how fear is what makes them heroes. Then we also have a shot of Fatima getting angry and ripping down the sheets to look creatures in the face as they just smile back at her, Jade yelling at the top of his lungs. Then we cut back to see that Fatima is not alone and Ellis is there to witness her tantrum. And you know what's interesting about this scene is that we haven't actually seen Fatima behave like this before, so I wonder what caused it. Then the trailer ends with Jim saying that maybe the point of them being there is so they can all be pushed to their breaking points. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what he said. And the trailer ends with Boyd in the road with that whole dream sequence where he's just looking around lost. Alright guys, so there it is, a quick trailer breakdown with a little inside information sprinkled in. Like I said, I've only seen the first 3 episodes at this time, and there has been a lot of interesting and even shocking moments, but nothing major has happened at this point, so we just gotta see where it goes as usual. Anyway, we will be discussing a lot more of these things soon because the premiere is just around the corner. And also, if you haven't already, you should keep an eye on the community tab because I've been posting some From trivia over there. You know, just some little fun shit to do while we wait. I'll probably even keep this going after the season starts back. But as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you all next time.